Hello. How am I doing today? I'm doing rather well. How about yourself? Please do bear in mind, this stream is in normal latency. This is going to be a shorter stream because we've had some issues with crashes and I'm doing some testing and I've been traveling, so it's a lot of stuff. So I'm going to try to see if I can prevent it from crashing by doing a short test, but I'm doing well. This is a chance to relax from all of the traveling I've been doing lately. With green tea. How have you been, more importantly? I know when we last left off with, we were doing some conversations to what I call the gallery of thought. Just effectively people talking about potentially contentious issues. I've been pretty good, but sick the past few days, but it's fine. Sick with, was it like the flu? Is it like an allergy issue because of weather change? Stomach issue? I hope whatever it is that you are recovering rapidly and that you feel substantially better than you did the first day of it. And to wish you a speedy recovery as well, if you are still unrecovered as to this point. Very nice. I know that, again, I know when we were last on here, we talked about the, let's see, what have we? My family got it and then they felt better, and then it's kind of a creeping illness. Ooh, the worst kind. I'm sorry about that, though. Well, it's not fun. I just had a sore throat and now some coughing and congestiveness and stuff, so... Okay, I see. Not fun, but luckily it can be... luckily it's... You're saying now it's kind of just passing, I hope, and that you're recovering well. Not that bad, but still unfortunate. Well, of course, any illness is unfortunate. I could agree with that, is what I mean to say. So, I think when we were talking the last time to the what I had affectionately called the gallery of thought, I was making commentary towards the power of, how do I want to say this? The power of extrapolating something of benefit from something that is almost entirely detrimental. And one of the things, I had to get a shot this Friday for my college records. As in, that's unusual. What I'm curious. I don't think I've ever heard of, and maybe I have, and I'm just not remembering it. A shot for your college. No, I'm familiar with when there is excessive congestion in the lungs. For example, if you have an LRI or a URI, upper respiratory or lower respiratory infection. Excuse me one second. I'm going to move us over to the fireplace. If you have an upper respiratory or lower respiratory infection, sometimes the treatment is a steroidal injection. So you're inoculated with a steroid to help you do it. But It was a doctor. It was a doctor well visit, and I had to do a lot more than I expected to. I know. A lot of times. I've not heard of it for a college. I know generally to participate in a sport, or to as you're going into high school and such. It's usually appropriate to have a physical, and it's probably not a bad idea to have that done in general, just as we kind of get older. But I didn't know that to be a requisite. I don't remember when I was going to college. I don't remember ever having had to do something like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just misremember. That's been some time ago. So, or maybe the standards have simply changed and we were antiquated, and now things make more sense. There are more caution. There is more caution. But I hope that you feel better for having done it, at least now to have a finger essentially on the pulse of your overall health. I think that would be. I hope that's a peace of mind given to you in otherwise tumultuous times. I was gonna say I don't remember having had to do that in my time though. For college. Tests, certainly, right? Test and apply and gather acceptance or rejection, or it was acceptance, fortunately, in my case. I don't think I was ever rejected, but medically, not so much, more academically. But really quickly, just to make sure that let's see. I got an x-ray for a weird shape in my spine. It could be developing scoliosis, but it could just be me growing because it wasn't that serious. I hope it's the latter. I hope it's just a matter of growing. There are also, not speaking specific to scoliosis, there are also conditions where there may be vertebrae that are fused in some instances artificially that, segment or need segmentation, and generally there are varying degrees of severity there, so it's one of those things where it's like, best to know of it and not make a mountain out of a molehill, I suppose, yes. But I hope everything goes well, and I hope that you feel substantially better again on the first day, and I hope that the discomfort that you have today wanes quickly tomorrow, and likewise the days following. And again, to say that, I was talking about the gallery of thought. That was one of the things that I was talking about, was extrapolation of something of benefit out of something that is negative. That understanding that negative things. I think that there was a potential. I think somebody potentially. We had a couple of people who openly debated. Of course, I was very grateful for that. But I believe one of the I think one of the key pieces that I think may have been misconstrued in this was this thought that I'm saying do negative things because there's always something good to be gotten from a negative thing that you do just at random. Which, of course, was not what I was saying. What I was saying is that negativity, in a lot of cases, whether we like to admit it or not, have goods that may be extrapolated from them, and that without negativity, we wouldn't have a good understanding of what positivity was. You may not be as grateful for feeling well if, and I'm saying this for myself as well, we may not be as grateful for feeling well if we didn't know what to not feel well was. Chaos theory, right? So we feel sick and we go, oh wow, this was, one of the time that I feel well is really nice because that's, and I don't know. I thought that was a kind of let's say I would call it a something I believe to be somewhat self-explanatory, but perhaps not. It was that to understand a state of being, you must understand the states of being that encompass it if you want to understand it truly. And that to understand something without understanding of its opposite is not to understand fully what that thing is. At least I don't believe so. But either way. What? There we are. I also visited my college yesterday, and it was really cool. So many programs and things were very different from my high school. Yeah, it's a different world. And this is something that I really like of colleges versus high schools. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I have varying opinions on the current state of our scholastic systems. Our academic pursuits are, I think, heavily monetized and incentivized for not necessarily success, literary success necessarily, I should say, or scholastic success, but success of, profitability, making money. But the thing that you do have the benefit of in that regard is that if you are paying for college, or if you are on a scholarship where you lose the scholarship for failure to produce academically to the level that they've asked, there is an additional incentive to kind of begin being or becoming conscientious. So when you're in high school, you're kind of obligatorily in academia. You are obligatorily there. You have to. It is truancy not to be. When you're in college, it's elective. So there's something extra there pushing you because the risk-reward system falls entirely on you. So I think that's one of those things that I can enjoy. The library in particular, if I remember correctly, it was a nationwide shared catalog. It has a nationwide shared catalog of books from all of the other colleges in the U.S. And you can go into their database and get basically any title you can think of. It's very fascinating. Very nice. That's very, very impressive. I certainly have a few that I would recommend, though I don't know that they would be your interests. If you're, of course, into fiction, then we have that. But if you're into nonfiction and you're into the philosophies that I've been speaking of these past few sessions, I would heavily recommend reading Friedrich Nietzsche, Beyond Good and Evil, and Thus Spoke. I guess technically it should be Thus Spake, but it was Thus Spoke Zarathustra, which are really, really nice. I might also recommend some of the works of Arthur Schopenhauer, as I've said before. If you'd like the poetry of this kind of what I would consider to be pseudo-nihilistic pursuit of what I think is overblown societal acceptance, Søren Kierkegaard gives a really good account of that. It's beautiful just to read, even if it's not something you espouse, which I'm fair with. Those are people that I think would be fun. Well, I say fun reads. I enjoy reading them. If you're generally just an optimistic person and you don't want to have your worldview tempered let's say tempered in a different crucible, then you may not want to read those. But I think they're very interesting. And they're fun, too. Beyond Good and Evil, I think, was one of the little things halfway in. So, in the event of a fire, a man may forget his dinner, but he will go back to extract it from the ashes. And you think, how ridiculous is that phrase? And at the same time, you look at it and say, well, are we really so petty? That we go back for individual pursuits, even though they've well been ruined when priority has struck? So... Hey Ash, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing wonderfully. As I was saying before, this one's probably going to be a little bit shorter of a stream, just to kind of prevent crashes, and we've had some stuff I'm troubleshooting, and then I'm traveling, and it's just been a lot of stuff is going on, so. But it's always a pleasure to have you here. How goes the playing of recently acquired retro titles? Would you say his philosophies are pessimistic in nature? Nietzsche? No, I would not. I would say his are pragmatic. I would argue Kierkegaard's are almost certainly, if not nihilistic. And then I would say, if you wanted a pessimist, Schopenhauer is a pessimist. But I don't think he is a pessimist beyond reason. The thing that I think, I've talked about this before, I had an entire stream where before we talked about what we could consider, and again, I hate this term, but I'm going to use it because it's colloquially acceptable, toxic, right? Positivity, and the societal need to consistently be happy when it's better to fully experience what you are experiencing in that emotion. It's kind of like what I was saying even back then. If you hate, then hate fully and completely. The word of the day, always for me, is arbitrary. Don't do things arbitrarily. And do not fool yourself into believing that you need to change what you feel. Experience what you feel, understand the byproduct of it, and then assess whether or not you need to make changes or commit actions. If you hate fully, but if the hate motivates you to turn away from that thing and to do better yourself, then let that hate fuel your ability and your progress in an opposite direction. If the hate causes you to want to be petty and to react arbitrarily, keyboard warrior, I think they call it colloquially, right? Where you need to go and you need to type up something and tell somebody that they're wrong and nitpick, then you need to get away from the hate because it's fueling you to do poor things. But we keep using these societal terms like hateful, and that's supposed to be a pejorative. It's okay to hate. It's just do not hate arbitrarily and do not act arbitrarily out of hate. The same thing is true of ego. The same thing is true of happiness. To do that is still harmful because it is disingenuous. Also, it's my mother's birthday today. Oh, well, happy birthday. I hope that she has a wonderful... I don't want to... I mean, if you're wanting or needing to go and celebrate with her, please do. I'm always happy to have you here, and your conversation is more than welcome, but obviously I would not like to pull you away from your family. That's a very special day. But a happy birthday to her, certainly, and I hope that she has the... I hope that she has the most wonderful day and that it begins the most wonderful year so far of her life, inclining upwards exponentially as time passes for her. But yeah, that's what I was saying originally, is that we've kind of created stigma around certain emotions, and we've kind of bolstered other emotions artificially. And we've said, there's no danger. What's the worst that can happen if you're happy all the time? Well, if you're happy all the time, you're disingenuous with yourself. You're disingenuous with the people that you talk about, and that being disingenuous will foster a mistrust. It will foster a false relationship between either your inner self and your outer self, or between the whole of you and the whole of another person. There is detriment to doing that. I would argue that you might want to try to stay as positive as you can, if you can, but I never forego a true emotion for the emotion that you wish you had. Experience fully the emotion you experience, and when you act out of this arbitrary, if you act arbitrarily out of this emotion, then endeavor to change. But if you're acting appropriately with this emotion, experience it fully and let it fuel you. Hate is as powerful as is love, and as dangerous as love. I can tell you that love has made many cold-blooded killers pull a trigger as much as has hate. I can tell you that wholeheartedly. Be it the hate for an individual or the love for an individual, be it the hate for a group of people, your beliefs of what they espouse, and the love for the ideal which you personally espouse. Those two things are equally dangerous, and they both cause that. On one side you have dogma, right? That's the love, not the hate. On the other side you have on the other side, you just have arbitrary anger. But yeah, we were talking about that last time. I think that there was some stuff on that. We were talking, the reason I got onto that was because you were saying you weren't feeling well, and it was just kind of the smallest example of chaos theory, right? Which is that I obviously hope that you feel better quickly, but also that we realize when we don't feel 100% that we really enjoy when we do feel 100%. It prevents us from taking it for granted as frequently as perhaps we do. And I think we're all guilty of that. I know I'm guilty of that. I'm no less susceptible to it than anyone else. I guess I am more aware because of the way that I look at things. I guess I am more aware of when it happens. But beyond that, no, I'm no less susceptible. The other thing I kind of had been asked was why, this was kind of offline, but it was, I say offline, it wasn't entirely offline, of course, but was why have I chosen to take time to talk on philosophy? Because we've had, interests in, Vidi came in and he was interested in philosophy, and we've had, just different philosophical conversations, and I think that the whole of it has kind of come to why do I talk of these things? A couple of reasons. Sometimes not being okay is fine. Yeah, that's exactly right. In the same way that always being depressed isn't okay, and it's okay for moments of happiness, always being optimistic is kind of like, think about what happens to you physically when you can't feel pain. Okay? There's a movie, I think, that's out right now. I've not seen it, but the idea is, I think, is Novocaine or whatever. The guy can't feel pain. There is actually a condition, a physical condition, and it's a medical issue when you cannot feel pain. You're just basically numb. And what you think about that, and a lot of people, when you present them with that, is and I want to try to be as clear. There is a condition, I believe it's called CIP, CIP. Congenital insensitivity to pain. And it's basically you can't feel pain. Well, what happens when you can't feel pain? You don't know when something's broken. You can't tell, right? It is still broken, but you can't tell that it's broken, and therefore you have no idea how to fix it, and in fact may try to continue on it, and it may make it much, much worse. So that insensitivity to pain, that inability, or that lack of even desire, because in our emotions and the mental state of being, we have a little bit more power over that. We have a little bit more control. Our desire to stray away from that pain is dangerous, because much like CIP, we also have the possibility of not realizing when something has gone far beyond wrong, and not realizing when we need to make a change, because otherwise we're going to continue to do damage to the already well-damaged part of us. But when we were talking about this, is what I was saying is, when we were talking about the philosophy, that was kind of one of the things. Why did you decide to start kind of waxing philosophical? So, a couple of reasons, right? Firstly, I would have done it anyway. I talk to myself a lot. I know that may be odd, but I talk to myself a lot, and these are conversations I would have had with myself anyway, and I would have tried to approach it from every possible angle. But it's much better to be able to get, in my opinion, other people's opinions. I may not agree with them, I may, but it's good for me to have them, and because if something is presented to me that is worth changing my mind on, then I will change my mind. The second piece of it is because philosophy is something that has fascinated me and fascinates me daily. Philosophy is something that is just ever present, and it's something that I think that I want to kind of roll the third piece into this. It's something I think is dying. I think that people's willingness to think philosophically is waning substantially. I think that people's desire to listen to philosophy is waning because we've begun to cultivate what is comfortable to us. We've begun to cultivate a group of ideas, not ideals, ideas that shun inherently other ideas. We've decided that it's okay to say, no, be happy all the time, and that we've decided it's okay to tell people what is okay to think and how it's okay to feel, because it's uncomfortable to talk about other things. And I think that that's very, very short-sighted. And I think that we don't talk openly enough about it. We see this on the internet all the time, right? We see the internet all the time. We see this. We see people constantly saying, you know what, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to correct everybody that says a bad thing, right? How do I want to say this? I think people are okay saying, let's see, I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. It reminds me of 3 days. Yeah. And people find it to be an emo kind of idea, but it is emo in terms of emotional, right? But that's true. Because to know that you can feel is better than to be numb. To know that you can feel pain. Think about this too, and think about the nature of an addiction. I was talking about this yesterday. Think about the nature of an addiction, right? What is an addiction inherently? A lot of people will say, well, it's a drug, it's a this. It's actually more than that, right? Because an addiction can be anything. You can have an addiction to questionable materials online. You can have an addiction to questionable materials, questionable medical substances, medicinal substances, amedicinal substances, certain vegetation, let's say, such as psilocybin or ayahuasca. Anything. But what an addiction is really isn't any of those things, and it's all of those things. An addiction is simply something that minimizes or rids you of pain and provides you a sense of pleasure. It does it artificially. So it's something that takes away the pain and adds pleasure, but it does it artificially. And then what happens is we end up with addiction. That's why there's such utility to feeling pain, right? People that have addictions to things like painkillers. Most of the medicines that we have here that are forbidden are painkillers, right? But the problem with it is that when you do that constantly, you lose the ability, firstly, to understand how to cope with pain, and you fail to grow beyond it. If you take a painkiller, you're letting it cope with the pain for you. If you learn how to take a painkiller when it's appropriate, but then learn how to handle the pain when it's not appropriate to take the painkiller, then that's the case. That's the trick. There can also be an addiction to feeling pain. There can be, but remember that in that, there is that addiction to feeling pain provides a pleasure. So it's also controlled pain, right? It's something, most people aren't addicted to feeling pain that they don't have the control of. Having that pain and controlling that pain, masochists, for example, are given a controlled pain, and that's what gives them dopamine, right? It's why that there are scenarios that those people put into, and I'm not a masochist, so I can't tell you all of the specifics. Certainly someone else can, but I can say that I've spoken to people who are generally more masochistic, and perfectly okay, that's their business, right? But the scenarios that they put themselves in allow them to feel pain, but in an environment where they know that they are safe. And therefore their pleasure is heightened because there is no real danger. right? The dopamine increases. It's not the same as, right? It's not the same as saying somebody is going to go out and allow them to have their legs smashed in with a sledgehammer, because that's just pain. It's a controlled pain in an environment that it's really safe, and that provides pleasure. And sometimes people do use that to kill. That's kind of an example. There's kind of an example I can give with this. It's kind of like, and there is some utility in this, by the way. But let's say you get a sunburn, and then you go, this was one of my approaches to some things, and I don't know if it was a good approach when I was younger, but I have an allergy to the sun. I burn very severely, very quickly in direct sunlight. And so one of my things was I would go and I would run hot water over top of the burn. That seems counterintuitive. It's not good for you. But after I had felt the pain of the hot water on top of the severe burn, the pain of the burn was tolerable because it was not as intense as the pain of the hot water on the burn, so to speak. Kind of like rubbing salt in a wound, it does help to offer some form of sterility. You're a vampire. Not really. Okay, not really. But I do have trouble with sun. I've had trouble with sunlight for a long time. But that was kind of like rubbing salt in a wound, right? A lot of people say, oh, that's basically an insult, but salt is also something that helps can help sterilize a wound in the case of not having something more important. Sometimes you might want to put a warm salt or something like that into the wound, or an alcohol, right, which burns the wound. But it's both sterilizing the wound, and it also is increasing the pain. And then after that, it's like I dealt with the pain that was at a 10. My normal pain is at a 7. I can deal with this. So there's still utility in that too. But you're right, there can be an addiction to feeling pain. It's just often in a controlled environment. So what are you drinking right now? No, it's green tea. I usually do green tea when I'm doing these. It's one of my favorites. It is good, though. It is not blood. Fun fact, hemoglobin is not particularly good for the human stomach. Controlled myoglobin, not too bad, especially if you're iron deficient, such as I am. It's red tea, but he's red-green colorblind. Could be. Yeah, hemoglobin, not good for the human stomach. Myoglobin in controlled amounts, especially if you have iron deficiency issues, can be very good for you. Green tea, that's what they... What a coincidence. They all say my favorite drink. Let me go back here. But yeah, that's... Anyway, that's me. That's my thought. But we had the last time we talked, 2 weeks ago. The last time we talked, it was pretty. There was a lot of back and forth, and I think there might have been some confusion, or perhaps I didn't elaborate clearly on what I had intended, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed what my intent was, what my belief systems are. And when you're talking about something, there's always going to be a level, I think, of... I think there's always going to be a level of things being misconstrued, just because the very nature of philosophy, right, is to be difficult to grasp, to be ethereal, by nature. So it means that I'm not going to be able to, even if I do present something to the gallery, so to speak, it's not always going to be accepted. And secondly, it's not always going to be interpreted as I intended to be. So I just wanted to make sure I gave the... I had just wanted to make sure I gave the full understanding. If I remember correctly, as I was definitely here for the last stream, you said if anything disagrees with you, they should unsubscribe, leave, and actually die. Anyone? Oh, no. No. I don't think anybody should. That's the thing. I want you to be able to disagree with me, but I also want you to be willing to... Same thing I'm willing to do. I want you to be willing to question yourself, right? If what you're saying doesn't make great sense, to what? At the end of the day, we can always go separate directions, right? Say, oh, I don't agree, that's fine, just separate, that's okay. But also, as much as I want my own belief systems tested, I also want other people to be willing to listen and say, well, yeah, I get that makes sense, I don't like to look at it this way, it may be uncomfortable, but I understand where this does actually make sense. I could actually, if I thought this way, I could see how that would be beneficial to me. But I think the one thing that I really, just without all of the extras, right, for just a second here, one of the things that I absolutely want to convey to everybody, and this is the long and short of it, is feel everything completely. Do not block. You don't live your life for everyone else, right? You have a small circle of people that you live your life for, and you are at the center of it. You must live your life for you too. And if you spend your life living it in the way that everybody else, society, government, whomever it is that you think is telling you to live in a specific way, right? If you live your life in that way, and at the end, and you get to the end of your life, you're going to look at it and go, I've wasted it. I lived it for everybody else, and then there was so much I didn't get to do, that I didn't do. Then that is a shame. That is a shame to have lived that way, basically. At least I think so. And I think that's a lot of what, I want to be clear on that too. I think that's a lot of what Nietzsche was doing too. I believe wholeheartedly that is what Nietzsche was saying. I think he was saying to live, I think he was saying to live your life for yourself. And that sounds selfish, I know, but in truth, it's really not bad advice. It's not saying be greedy. It's saying be responsible and understand that you could live to regret your entire. You could regret your whole existence. Yeah, dying is very ill-advised by 9 out of 10 doctors. That's true. But I can tell you that 9 out of 10 undertakers think it keeps their business going quite well. I don't know. My opinion is set in stone. I'll never like the. You didn't say anyone. You said anything. Anyone who disagrees with you aren't even humans. That's true. No, I'm okay with disagreeing. I want to be very clear too. But obviously, I know you're being funny in this. But yeah, I don't care if you disagree with me. That's fine. If you want to disagree with me, that's perfectly okay. I just want to make sure that you understand the whole of it. That's all. That's all it is. But yeah, like I said, I think if you disagree with me, that's okay. I think you can put your case out there, and if you don't want to put your case out there, that's also okay. You don't have to. You can just be like, you know what? I don't think that works for me, and that's perfectly okay. I'm never being funny. I'm serious 100% of the time. I mean, that's pretty serious, man. Yeah, no, we had I think we had a good time before last. I think we had a pretty good debate. Another gentleman was on here. I think he was a gentleman, Hummus Hero, and we had some back and forth on that. And I don't know. I don't think he was offended. At least I hope not. That wasn't certainly the intent. But it was just we had some back and forth, and which was good. And I wanted to be sure that I'm very clear on, yeah, no, it's perfectly okay if you disagree with me. I can be wrong. Ooh, the Ash is serious because he lacks the capability of being funny. Ooh. That's something to take very seriously. He's called your comedic gifts into question. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. I want people to feel like that they can disagree with me and that we can speak about things like this. The idea originally, when it came to, I would be offended if I... Ooh. This is going to be a battle of a different type of wits, isn't it now? Good Lord. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I can't remember. Oh, yes. The idea of opening this particular forum up was different from the... What comedic gift? I mean, the floodgates have opened. No, the reason I wanted to open this part up, the part where we can talk about things candidly, is because, I've said this before, I just don't feel like the internet has consistently... I don't feel like the internet has consistently fostered that or that it does. I feel like that the internet wants us to feel... You were talking about that guy you banned for just... No, I didn't ban anybody. No, what I was saying is that I think that a lot of people... when you come onto the internet, I think a lot of people just don't feel like... I feel like that they feel that they have to say things that... I have to censor myself. And you might have an idea, and then automatically somebody puts you into a bucket that doesn't even make sense, right? I've been called... I was talking about... and I think I've said this before. I was talking about moral relativism, which is my personal viewpoint on general morality, is that morality is generally subjective, and that circumstance is what is the dictating factor. And I was called... This argument happened a couple of years ago. I've had this argument multiple times since, but at this point in time, I was called Hitler. I was called Hitler for that. And I'm sitting there going, that's a huge leap in logic to say, well, he was a moral relativist, and you're a moral relativist, therefore you are him. It's kind of the same argument of the water is bleach, right? Humans are bleach, rather. The bleach is 80% water, humans are 70%, or sorry, bleach is 70% water, humans are 70% water, therefore humans are bleach. That correlation is false. That's a false equivalence. We are not bleach at all, because that 30% means a lot. You remind me of Hitler, to be fair. Really? That would be disappointing. I definitely disagreed with the man on many, many, many things, including but not limited to his gross willingness to commit genocide to people who didn't do anything to deserve that. Fighting Max says, "Huh? Are you talking about the correlation? It was an illustrative of false equivalence via correlation, and the idea was, I thought bleach. Oh, I get that one. I understand what that is. Yeah, I was like, what? No, I know, I'm not. But I know I'm not. But in this case, and the other thing about it too is, and again, I'm not defending Hitler at all. I'm not saying anything good about Hitler in that regard, but this is part of where I'm going to be very, very careful. We need to be able to understand things that have occurred that were not a part of the awful things, right? He was a man who rose to power, was manipulative, used the success of the previous two Reichs under the name of the Third Reich to manipulate people to believing it was a noble cause, killed 6 million or more of a people because he believed them to be impure through, again, arbitrary reasoning, justified it through the lens of Friedrich Nietzsche's moral relativism through mistranslations, I believe, that were provided or furnished via Nietzsche's sister. Right? Those are all horrible things. Hitler, on the whole, was a bad person. But there's also a whole bunch of him that was different, that we should look at that side also. And I'm not saying we should look at him better because of it, but we should be capable of talking about it without automatically saying that any person who wants to talk about those types of things isn't automatically an evil person. I think we can very comfortably say Hitler was an evil person, but it's kind of that 70% deal, right? There's also that 30% makes a huge difference, but there's also a whole bunch of stuff outside of that we need to evaluate. And I'm not just talking about Hitler, obviously. I'm talking about other things, right? Like hatred, like negativity, like morality, like dogma, things that you might talk about around organized religion, profitability in companies, corruption in power structures, appeal to authority issues that fall in line with something like a Milgram experiment. These are things that we can talk about and should not feel that we are inherently censorious, or we should not rather be inherently censorious, nor should we be censored. Things like that are hard to talk about further than the surface level. They're only hard to talk about beyond the surface level because societally we are thrown into a bucket if we dare do that. And it's part of the reason that I say forget the society part. I know that sounds really, tricky, but seriously, forget society. I bet Hitler would love it. Well, maybe. I don't know. He probably wouldn't be upset with it, seeing as Japan was an Axis power. Anime technically was out around the time that he was still about, wasn't it? What was that? Was it Big O, I think it was called? It was like a precursor to like Astro Boy or something. Wasn't that out in the mid-late 40s, early 50s? I could be wrong. Maybe it was just the 50s. I think he would have been, depending on what you believe of him, right? I think he would have been gone around the mid-late 40s. He would have committed suicide in 45. But if some people believe he fled to Argentina, and if that were indeed the case, then he probably saw some before he passed. I don't know. But again, I'm not defending the guy, and I'm not trying to rehumanize the parts of him that have shown to be non-human, right? Which is just that consistent, arbitrary hatred, right? Again, arbitrary is the operative word, not hatred. That arbitrary hatred of Jewish people, which is terrible. Would cheer for Frieza and DBZ? Maybe so. Could be. I don't know, honestly. I've never thought of that. But the point is, the things that are hard to talk about further than the surface level shouldn't be hard for us because we have an issue talking about them. It should be. I think it's hard for us because of society saying, if you dare talk about them, we're going to throw you into this bucket, right? If you dare talk about new fan fiction unlocked, I don't know. Again, that's I have never entertained that, and I don't honestly know how well. I don't honestly know how well. I don't know how deeply I'm going to give that any sort of thought, except for to giggle at it here. But maybe. But that's the thing. Society automatically wants to say, well, if you look at the elements of him that weren't evil, you're automatically saying he isn't evil. Well, I didn't say that at all. I can clearly say he's evil, but I can also say, let's look at some other things he did. Let's look at the generation of the Autobahn, for example, which is not an inherently evil thing. It was a rung on the step to further power, and if that were his intent the entire time, sure. But my point is, there are things that we need to be able to extrapolate without broad brush throwing them in. There are things that are appropriately broad brush, right? When you have problems, you want those to be broad brush. You want to be able to have solutions and throw them into buckets that those solutions will then solve, emptying those buckets out effectively. But when it comes to people, you don't want to be broad brush. You want to be nuanced. Now, again, Hitler's not a person I give a ton of thought to. It's just the biggest example I can think of. But it's the thought of being able to talk about something completely and not immediately be, well, I don't know. Sounds an awful lot like because that's kind of what the beginning of propaganda is telling you it's us versus them, and if you talk about them, you're always you're with them. No, that's not what that means at all. That's not at all what that means. Not even remotely. So it's just, I don't know. I want, the point is, I want people to be able to talk without the fear of consistent censorship. If you came in and you said, I have a question about, let's use the Hitler example again, but I have a question about this, or I want to talk about this aspect of it. And it's, you're not saying, I agree, we should have done this genocide. No, that obviously that is a bad thing. That's espousing a terrible viewpoint. But if you came in and were like, I have questions, what about the this that came of it? Well, it wasn't worth it. But yeah, that was a thing that came of it that wasn't completely the worst thing ever. Yeah, okay, sure. I don't think you're an evil person because you talked about that. And let's back it off. The reason I use the most extreme example is because obviously it's the most extreme, but let's back it off a little bit. People in the gaming industry have felt like they can't talk about, we can't talk about the issue with people putting their politics inside of video gaming, which has been a very large problem recently. DEI, right? I'm all for being diverse. I'm all for being inclusive. I'm all for being equitable insofar as that nature allows us, because those things are not always perfectly allowed in all circumstances just by virtue of existence, right? We are, as people who exist, we are constantly exclusive to our benefit, by the way. We exclude conversation with people that we believe to be not remarkably intelligent. It just based off of, I agree about not being censored. That's why I appreciate this thing, because I think beep, 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 beep. Some of those are too short to even be a curse word that at least I'm familiar with. But don't censor. No, I don't mind. I really, that's my thing, is like, we are like DEI. I was talking about that. I think that those three things are great to aspire to, but the way that we've approached them, firstly in saying all or nothing, which is again the basis of propaganda, it can't be all or nothing, everything is nuanced. And then the second thing is, sometimes it is appropriate to say, look, this game tried to push a political agenda instead of just be fun for people to play. I don't think it's the majority of the games that have done that, but I think that a lot of games have decided that they want to kind of push in that direction. I'm like, no, don't do that. Just make a fun game. I've talked about this before. Write the story first and then put the characters in it. Don't write the character and then try to make the story fit them. Right? Because there was that whole thing, I think in the early 2020, it was like, nobody likes female characters. Everybody's sexist. Nobody's going to buy a game with a female character. And we're like, Tomb Raider's been around for a while. Everybody kind of loves Tomb Raider. I mean, I love Tomb Raider. I remember when Tomb Raider first came out on the PS1. I thought it was great. Clock Tower. I've loved Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo. It just recently came out on Switch and such, but like Clock Tower came out for the Super Nintendo, and the main character is a younger, teenage girl, and she's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I say younger teenage. She might be, I think, 15, 16, something. So she's mid-teenage, but still, you have to kind of navigate this. It kind of plays into being a little bit more helpless because you're, I honestly, again, I've played Star Wars Outlaws, which is a female protagonist. I think it's great. I mean, I personally have had a lot of fun with it. So it's just like, we have to be willing to talk about those things and not just immediately shut it down and go, well, you being anti-DEI, you're some right-wing, left-wing, whatever it is, not. And I'm playing, so yeah, exactly. We have little Madeline, and Madeline's adorable, and I love her to pieces. I think she's great. I don't have a problem with, I don't care what the color of the skin or the gender of the character is. I don't. If it's not, what was the big thing? Dragon Age? Let's see here. Diversity for pure sake of diversity is ridiculous. Writing a story that happens to feature a diverse cast. Well, it's kind of the thing with talent. Like I've said this before, with talent and. It's kind of the thing like with talent and diversity. If you prioritize one thing, because you can't prioritize multiple, otherwise they're not priority, right? They're going to be prioritized to a different level. So prioritize one thing, okay? We're going to prioritize diversity, then you forego talent. If you prioritize talent, you don't necessarily forego diversity, right? If you're looking to fill a slot with somebody of a specific gender, specific sexual identity, or a specific color of skin, you may forego talent because you're narrowing the options of the people based off of, again, arbitrary reasoning. But if you open up talent, people of all gender identities, colors, whatever, sexual identity, which shouldn't be relevant, by the way, in any business, that does not matter. But all of them will come to you, and you will end up with diversity as a consequence anyway. It doesn't always work the other way around, but that way it will. Horizon, the Horizon game, Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, awesome. Aloy is a cool character. I don't get it. I don't understand what this fascination is with being censorious against people because they have opposition to having things like this shoehorned in. That's my personal opinion. But that's my take. The constant fascination with race swapping, white redheads especially, is a weird thing in Hollywood. It's not a coincidence either, just strange. Well, you shouldn't change. Like, for example, and again, I don't care if you're not ruining the story, right? It's like they decided to going into like God of War. This is a little older, right? But they wanted to swap. They decided to race swap Angraboda. Angraboda is originally like a paler blue-skinned, this, that. And they decided, well, we're going to make her, a darker skin. Okay, fine. It's not that big of a deal, right? But at the same time, why? It's okay. It doesn't, again, it's a mythology. It's fine. But it's just like, why not just... It's a mythical story. Why not just give her the blue skin? I'd say the exact same thing if they made a new Blade movie and made him white. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's just make good stories, right? Just make good. Same thing with. There are great characters out there, and if you feel like that they're not being represented, don't shoehorn them into an already established fiction. Either write them into the already established fiction organically, or write a new fiction with them as at the head of it and make it a good fiction. And people will do it. People will watch. A good example of this. This is another good example of this. Was The Fifth Element, 1995, I think it was. You had Corbin Dallas, played by. Oh shoot! Now I'm blanking on his name. Why am I blanking on his name? Bruce Willis. Goodness sakes! And then you had Mila Jovovich playing Lilu. That was cool. And then you had Chris Tucker playing this. You didn't know what. Like, sometimes effeminately dressed, sometimes masculinely dressed, sometimes wearing makeup, sometimes not. It was just like, but the character was so fun and off the cuff and just crazy and just that it didn't matter. You're like, nobody. Yeah, it was Bruce Willis. I was thinking, I'm sorry about that. But it was like, it didn't matter. It was like, this was just a cool character. Yeah, Gary Oldman was the main bad guy. There's no actual, but it's like that was such a cool, like, that character was just so fun. I think that character, I have no idea what the identity of that character is in terms of all of the, but it was a fun character. Gary Oldman can't stand that film. He did it for a favor. It's a good film though. It's a fun film. It really is. And his character is a funny character. And I know Gary Oldman's a fantastic actor. He can just nail anything that he puts his mind to, but I thought I really like that film. I think it's a fun film. It's all over the place. It's kind of based off of, there was a cartoon in the 1980s. It was like an adult animated cartoon. It wasn't adult in an inappropriate way. It was just very adult themed cartoon from the 80s. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, it was just basically the movie version of that, and it was pretty cool. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. Just do that. Just have fun. I'm going to switch over to the game now because I don't want this to go for too terribly long, but I can't have it do that anyway. But let's see if I got the right one. Did I get the right one? You know what? I think we can go a little bit bigger. Let's do that. There we go. Fade that music out so we've got our nice Celeste music in. But yeah, it was just like, I like let's get Celeste. I like okay, these are I didn't mean to do that. I gotta get reacclimated. I gotta remember. Okay. So it's X that I have to remember. I believe trigger lets me grab. Yeah, okay, that's right. Also, did you say you were going to link my... Oh, you're right. I did say that, and I did not do that, so let me... I will make those changes. Let me make that... See if I can make that change right now. If it doesn't let me make that change now, then I will make that change here in just a second. Let me see if I can. Okay, it isn't going to let me do it right here, so I will do it after the fact this time. I apologize, I had... Oh! Okay. Had to learn how the bubble works. Yes, I will certainly do that, though. Because I think that would be... I think that would be a great idea. Again, I think your stuff's very fun to watch, so... Okay, again, getting reacclimated here. We've got a little bird friend. Okay, I don't get him. I like how when you go under the water you get the distortion. Oh, hey, guy. Oh, great, you again. Wait, who's this guy? Oh, it's the lady. Okay. Well, I didn't expect to see you up here. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you're still in one piece. I see you made it through the hotel. Did you meet Mr. Oshiro? Yeah, we did. Oh, I met him all right. I don't know why we're angry. We were awful to him. He chased me out of there. No, he didn't. Well, he did, kind of, but... Yeah, but you also made a hole in his roof. Okay, thank you. Of course. Oh, that sounds like a fun morning. Oshiro is a lost soul, dear. That place is much more than just a hotel to him. Don't make him your project. You know what I think? I think this mountain drove both of you crazy. You know, you're not the first person to say that. Maybe you're right. How would I know if I were crazy? The way I see it, the mountain can't bring out anything that isn't already in you. But you gotta be a few crows short of a murder to live up here in the first place, right? Kind of, yeah. Or a few ravens short of a conspiracy. What are you even talking about? Oh, I'm just a rambling old bat, I am. Are you ready to give up? I know a shortcut back to your car. Oh, Matt, I didn't know Madeline was old enough to drive. She seems like such a little kid. Back off, lady. I'm headed for the summit. All right. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between stubbornness and determination, isn't it? You remind me of myself when I was young. Good luck and mind the wind. Oh, that's what the puzzles are gonna look like coming up, isn't it? Let's see if she gives me. You don't get many visitors up here, do you? No, I can't say I do. I don't mind the solitude, though. Sometimes I think I should live in solitude, too. I really tried to get through to Mr. Oshiro. I wanted to help him. Oshiro needs to move on from that hotel. But it's not going to happen on your schedule. And it doesn't help that you've got something to prove. Very true. So this is actually kind of in line with the philosophy I'm talking about. You can't live for someone else's problems. You can't live to solve or be the solution to other people's. You have to live for you. And you have to make sure that what you are doing is genuinely what you feel you need to do. Don't let it be confused to prove yourself to someone else. I can't stand this. I like Madeline. She's definitely... So I like Madeline, but she's definitely frustrating. She's definitely doing this egotistically. And not... I don't know yet what the purpose of it is. And we've seen her kind of shadow self, to use the Jungian phrase for anyone who's familiar with the philosophy of Carl Jung's The Shadow Self. we've kind of seen that self make itself manifest, and Granny's kind of telling you the truth. She's kind of like, yeah, I'm doing something up here, and that guy is living his project, and he's telling you what's right and wrong, but he's not right with himself yet, and you're trying to take it on yourself. I kind of like that philosophy. Not the Granny, the main character. Man, this has more than Disco Elysium. Yeah, frustrating. That's fair. You have more dialogue than this game. Good lord. My goodness. The dialogue in this game is good. I think that's... What is this? I just earned reward points? I'll collect them in a minute. Don't you get lonely in that little cabin? I have friends, dear. I may be crazy, but I'm not a hermit. Sorry. I didn't mean to assume. All right. When I was younger, I couldn't imagine staying in one place for this long. But then I found this mountain. I knew right away it would be my home. What's so special about it? The mountain shows you who you really are. Okay. Whether you're ready for it or not. It keeps me honest. I can come up with these... Wait. Viddy's not even here. Viddy banned him. I can come up with these in no time. You're just easy to make fun of. View my previous statement from earlier. Good lord. Let's, obviously I'm not censorious, but let's hope that none of this is turning into genuine animosity, gentlemen. There's no need for that. I thought so. When did this come out? 2018, if I remember correctly? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, no, let's not let the... I mean, again, I'm not censorious, but at the same time, let's not let this turn into genuine animosity if it need not be. Oh, those are spikes. I was not paying attention. There's no way. Huh. This is an interesting puzzle. No, please don't turn the car around. I'll behave. I'm not turning the car around. I just don't want it to be genuine animosity if there's no... Again, the word is arbitrary. There's no reason for genuine animosity. If you guys are making fun of each other and just, obviously, please do what you will, but just, I don't want anybody accidentally getting under the other one's skin and then being like, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not censorious. I remember it being nominated to the game. I can't remember what year. Yeah, 2018, I think, is when it came out. But it's not a matter of whether or not you guys are behaving. Yeah. That's my thing, is that when I talk about arbitrary, I'm talking about... Oh, now it's calm. I'm talking about, not being upset for no good apparent reason. Oh, I didn't realize that was... Oops. I threaded... Success from the jaws... I mean, failure from the jaws of success, right? The bubbles are a little harder to control. It's literally impossible for Max to offend me. I would also have to care. They're just points. They don't do anything. Well, that's the thing. It's good to not care about it if you're joking with each other, then there's no reason. Okay, I get it. Yeah, the strawberries are basically just oh, I thought that was going to bounce me up. It didn't. The strawberries are just kind of bonus points for the most part, really. I didn't mean to do... Well, I meant to do... I didn't mean to do that, but... And the winged strawberries you can't get if you dash. And we've got wind again somehow on this side. So there's a balance issue here. See, like, there we go. Now the wind is... Of course I'm joking. You're a good man. I figure that's as much, but I don't... It's very easy from behind a keyboard. It's very easy to become upset genuinely, and then to type out something that someone else doesn't understand as a part of things. So, Viddy Pan Retro. It's also easier to understand what Ooh, I didn't make it. It's also easier to understand a person's intention when you can hear their voice, I assume. I say that, but I misconstrue, even when I can hear a person, I can misconstrue intent, so... I'm not particularly, if I'm to be honest, I'm not particularly great at reading rooms, and that's a byproduct of... That's a byproduct of, let's call it my condition. Well, I think I get it. Nope. Retro, he's not talking to me. Oh, well, it could be. Why does it automatically launch me that way? Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go this way. Well, you're not called the reading room, are you? No, not at the present. Could be. In honor of Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton. It's definitely easier to miscalculate your jumps with the wind. There is a Okay, I think I see. I need to go all the way up. There's a level in Donkey Kong Country. Whoops. There's a level in Donkey Kong Country that does this kind of thing. Let's see, how do I make my way up there? Okay, I think... So I have to time it so that I can jump back and forth when the wind isn't there. Gotcha. The music's nice. Yeah, I just said the music's quite nice. And the visuals are quite nice, to be fair. I mean, when we're talking about these... this kind of 8-bit-ish or 16-bit-ish visual. Will it respawn? Yeah, that's okay. So I have options in terms of direction. I can go this way for to try to get a strawberry, I guess. But the question is, how in the blazes am I... Oh, I see. So it would be... That was done poorly. I'll try this maybe once or twice, but I don't... That's the idea, though. That isn't going to work, because I can't jump high enough to do it. So I need to fall off, grab on, jump up, almost grab on, and then jump up again. And then jump back and forth. The challenges are... The thing about it, too, is that the challenges are... I mean, like, the platforming's pretty tight. Like, a lot of it... I've had a couple of eaten inputs here and there, but it's been... Most of the time, it's been something that I haven't been able to take. That I haven't been able to take on legitimately because it's my, you know, my issue. All right, I'll try this one more time and then I'll... There we go. Thank you. So I can't go down that way. The thing about it is a platformer, and it is a... I mean, it feel... Oh, I can't even... Oh. And it feels very much like a platforming... Like the platforming challenges are very solid. And it's really using simple mechanics. Again, very, very similar in a lot of ways to like DKC2. I think I'm supposed to go... There's an outhouse. Oh. Those don't bounce you very high, so I need to find a way to like this, and then it's very, very difficult to get that. And I get free strawberry for that, I guess. Cool. Okay. Whoops. Didn't realize that was what was going to happen. But it... Oh, I can't... Okay. How do I get up there, then? I guess I don't? No, I can't quite reach. That's icicles on that side. Okay. Well, I'll go down, then. But it does feel like a... I mean, it really does. It feels like a legitimate... Oh, what's this guy? Feels like a legitimate challenge of platforming. Oh, it's not. It's the periscope type thing. There's a strawberry there. Okay. Very difficult, though. I was trying to see if I could just make the dash. Stand on... Wait, I'm not a fan of this, and I won't keep on, but I do think it's fairly unique in how... Let's see. The platforming is pretty brutal at times. Yeah, it is. I'm not a fan of this, and I won't keep on, but I do think it's fairly unique in how it feels. I'll give it that. And again, it feels like a platformer. Stand on it for a little bit and let your momentum... So let's see. Like this. Let's say, because it bounces me at the same height each time. Okay, so that one I can steer back, actually. Let's see. Didn't realize it was going to smash me against the wall. Should have paid better attention. There we go. What do you mean by that? I don't think it necessarily feels like a platformer. There's a heaviness to it that isn't enjoyable for me, but I know how many love this. So hold on, wait a minute. Oh, the cloud. I see. It has a heaviness to it, but the heaviness is circumvented by the mechanics of the game. So, like, in this case, yes, you do constantly feel like you're back down on the ground. It's not going to be exactly like a Mario, but that's a part. The mechanic of the game dictates that you have multiple ways at your disposal to circumvent that heaviness. Okay, so I can steer. Like, for example, in this particular case, I'm still heavy. But... Boop. Does it close that? No, it doesn't close that off. But I have a dash. I have platforms that help me... I wanted to see if I could go underneath that somehow. But I have the steering of the platforms. I have the dash ability. I have the grapple ability where I can grab onto this. So I mean, all of that, the gravity is a mechanic of the game, but then it's circumvented by the game's mechanics. If it was like, I've had games that just feel heavy, and there's no way to contend with the heaviness. Would be a good... Donkey Kong Country 1's a great example of that. You feel way heavier than you need to feel, and there's not really a great... I mean, you could be Diddy Kong, I guess, but there's not really a great way to circumvent that heaviness. And in this one, it's kind... I mean, there are plenty of mechanics that are readily available at your disposal to just go on it. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know why it's not for me. I love to try almost every platformer. There's only a few, and that's fine. I mean, again, you don't have to like it. That's not my intent. Isn't to tell you need to like it and lighten up or what. It's none of that. It's just this one has a. I think it does a good job of check and balance. Right? Is it the best platform I've ever played? No, not at all. I would harken back to things like Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country 3. Shovel Knight's a really great one. Honestly, I love Shadow Warrior. I think Shadow Warrior, but at the same time, is this up there in, top 10 or 15? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say this is pretty comfortable there. I don't see that. DKC 2 got rid of the problem, and DKC 3 got rid of the problem, but DKC 1, playing as Donkey is absolutely a slog, because they didn't give him they gave him the strength feat. They fixed it in 3 with Kiddy Kong because he has the roll bounce and he's actually got some fluidity to him, but they didn't actually get that in until DKC 3. DKC 1, playing as Diddy is almost preferable all of the time. That's what I mean. I'm not trying to keep on about I'm not trying to keep on about it liking it on a stream where people like it. It's just disappointing when I try. Oh no, that's fine. You can. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, like, again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm enjoying it. Is it my favorite platform ever? No. Do I like it? Does it fall in my, would I put it in my top 10 or 15? Yeah. I'd put it up there. But again, I'm gonna put Super Mario World. I'm gonna put DKC 3. I'm gonna put probably DKC 2 also. I'm gonna put Cyber Shadow, and I'm gonna put Shovel Knight. I think those are a little bit more up that alley for me than this is. But I mean, this doesn't fall far behind them. And again, I've only named 4 or 5 games there. So I'm trying to figure out how to get over to that. I can get here, right? But I can't break the wall or anything, and I don't have the height necessary to get up here. So I'm wondering, can I steer this? No. So I can do that. A Hat in Time is another one. I genuinely do not like that game, and I don't get it. I should love it. It's weird. A Hat in Time I had a lot of fun with. When I was playing it, I had a lot of fun with it. It very, very, very much to me feels... I don't understand how... I know that's where I'm supposed to get because it's shiny, but I don't understand how to get up there. Do I have to get all of the strawberries? Is that what it's asking me to do? I already did this one though. See, I already did that, didn't I? No? Whoops. I'll just gently slide down. This isn't gonna work. Oh, okay, that's fine. Didn't think I was gonna make that. And then I can run all the way across the top again, like this. And it closes that off. Okay. Alright, does that now give me anything new? Hold on 1 second. Have I missed one? Nope. This is the only one left open, and I got it. Right? Aha! I knew there was something funny. Okay, that's... I knew there was something funny about that. Now it closes that off. So now I've gotten all of the strawberries. Does it give me anything new to do over here, or am I still just stuck? Because the strawberries don't do anything. Okay, hold on. Mario World and Shovel Knight are my favorite 2D. Astrobot, Crash 4, and Banjo are my favorite. Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, Banjo definitely favorite 3D of all time. Did you ever check out Clive? I did, which I thought was pretty solid too. I tried out BoltBot's Screwy Virus on stream, but it's still in early access and was kind of buggy after it crashed. It has some issues, but it's cool. Nice. Sorry, nope, wrong. So I might not continue it. No, that makes sense. Oh, Thumb says good luck. Thank you, Thumb. I decided I had a moment. I was going to take just a brief break and play a game for a second, and then, you know. But thank you very much for stopping in and saying hi. It has been a heck of a several weeks at this point. So, okay, so what am I not doing right? I can't quite reach there. Living is easy with your eyes closed. Yes, I agree. So this is where I came from. I got all of the strawberries from there, closed out. Whoops. Of which there were 2. All of the strawberries from here, it's closed out. All of the strawberries from here, it's closed out. All of the strawberries from here, it's closed out. All of the strawberries from here, it's closed out. So all of the places that I need not be have closed out. Where do I go now? Honestly, I don't have a lot to talk about today. That's all right. If you're not feeling well, I mean, you're always welcome to just rest and take it easy. There's no worries. Yeah, I can't jump that high, so what am I supposed to do? If there weren't icicles on both sides, that would kill me. See? Then I would say, well, that's not a problem. I can just jump right there, but I can't. So, what am I missing? Gotcha. It doesn't control from the bottom. At the top, it controls from the sides. And I think there was a way I was supposed to know that, but I don't know what it was. I get it. It's the green side. Okay. So there's a green side on each of these. Ah, well, dang. That jumps hard. Didn't mean to do that. Let's just do this. Alright, let's let it come back. There we go. Changing direction on the cloud does seem to lose momentum fairly quickly. That'll do. That it served its purpose. I can't grab onto those vines. Okay, I think I'm supposed to... Am I supposed to ride that thing the whole way around? Maybe so. Okay, and then I have to jump... Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to... And I have to jump on the top. See how the green is a switch there? So, like right here... I have to be able to jump back on top. That's tough. That's an interesting puzzle. Yeah, the clouds definitely feel Rayman-ish. Let's see. See, I can get down here, up here, down here, and then I'm gonna come here like this, and then I'm gonna do like that. There we go. See, this is the thing about the puzzle element, is it definitely does have some, like, there's some critical thinking to be done here. And I really think whoops, whoa! There's also some silly things like what I just did there. But there's some real critical thinking to the puzzle. Now, how in the world am I supposed to get over there? I have no idea. I didn't mean to hit the bottom. I was going to grab the side, but it didn't work. So now I'm immune currently. Now that's a game I haven't thought about in a long time. A la Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because everybody knows I love Star Wars, and I kind of think... I was thinking about playing Bloodstained next, or... Honestly, I may play Jedi Survivor. I don't know. I love playing Star Wars games, and I got to play a bit of that, the other one, shoot. I see what needs to happen. That isn't it. Of Outlaws, and I really enjoyed playing Outlaws. I should have grabbed onto the other side once I made sure I had cleared it. Whoops. That's gonna give me my so that actually gives me my charge jump back, but I have no idea where I'm meant to go. Right there. Okay, and then I now can jump like that, and then like this, and then like that. Okay, cool. I get it. If you put an abacab... No, it doesn't. You should make a Star Wars channel, then you have some free time in the next decade. Oh, that would be cool. I think we all know I do love my Star Wars, right? I don't have any... How do I do this? Let's see. Up I needed... Okay. It's hard to do. The Retro Wars. Star Wars has had... The thing about Star Wars is it has so many good games, good books, it just covers... It's got a lot of... If I'm to be honest with you, it's got a lot of bull, so to speak, from the Disney years that I'm not real keen on, but It's also had a lot of good, even from the Disney years, it still had a lot of good. We had, we got Andor, and Andor was awesome. Oh my goodness sakes, that was close. We had Andor, and Andor was awesome. We had, Andor was awesome. I would say The Mandalorian was pretty good. I would say Book of Boba Fett wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. The first half of Book of Boba Fett's awesome. Kenobi, I actually quite enjoyed. It didn't need to be done, but it did get done. I thought that was cool. Bad Batch, pretty solid. I was hoping that thing would respawn in time. The movies we've already talked about, 7, 8, and 9, not great. Could have been way better. Should have been way better, actually. Anything in the LucasArts game era, why in the world am I dashing like the, well, I don't, at the very bottom, but anyway. Any of the games made during the LucasArts era is fantastic, or are fantastic. And they started coming back out with those, and I think that's really cool. There we go. Okay, I gotta figure out. So this is gonna be all of these, I guess, incorporated. Whoops. There we go. I didn't even see that platform there. I was gonna try and grab on to the other one. Okay, this one's just for strawberry. I don't need to do this, but I kind of want to try it. Oh, there's no way. What the heck? This is, I can jump the whole chasm, so it's just making my way back. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it is. I'll try that. I'll try it a time or two. Better than that, hopefully. With that amount of wind, it's very difficult to... Ah! One more time. Okay, I one more because I see something I think I might have done. So if I do strawberry here to here, then I can... I think I can grab onto the side of this little guy. So here to there. Maybe I can't. Also going off adding my channel link, if you mention your feature channel, please mention that my streams can be more vulgar at times. Much more vulgar. I can mention it. I've not seen one be vulgar thus far, and I've been in a fair few. But I can mention... I should have probably done that, huh? I can mention it if you'd like. Should I warn against any specific type of vulgarity? I can grab onto the little guy just backwards. Are we talking about strictly linguistic vulgarity, or are we talking about vulgarity of a different nature? There's no... Because I have no issue with linguistic vulgarity, but obviously I wouldn't want to espouse myself if I thought there were other vulgarities that I was not made privy to, that I was like, yeah, let's do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that I can understand. That's fine. Once upon a time, during research mode, a talkie toaster appeared and Retro borrowed Ash 20 quid. Good ASMR bedtime story, that one. The end. All of that story was true. Is it a fact? No, it's a point of view. Never mind. We will let that strawberry stay where it is for now. Perhaps I'll go back and mess with it in a minute, but not now. No need. try this once more with feeling. I don't know why. I don't know why. I lost track of where I was there. That'll do. So now I'm going to have to steer this thing. Wait. Oops. Come on, me. There we are. Now, how in the world am I meant to get past that? Who's ringing the bell? It's when I hit the little thing. Does video have to say already grilled bread products? Technically, yes. Yeah, both channels. That's true. Okay. So it's to get that out of the way, but even once that's out of the way, what in the world am I intended to do? I consider my video plays my truest self with the exception of having to talk more. The main account is mostly scripted in terms of thinking carefully what to say. But of course my streams are part of video plays self. Oh, very good. Right, you want to be, I mean, as genuine as you can. So what am I missing out on here? I get it. Well, maybe. Okay, I think what's meant to be done. I assume that's meant to be done more quickly with this thing. So I'm supposed to get this in the way. Yes, I see, I see. All right. Okay, I understand now. But it's very difficult, that last bit there. Well, that part's not easy also. Oh, I haven't mentioned video. Wait, yeah, I haven't mentioned video. I was at the Viddy's event in the server when we watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, I apologize. I'd said I wasn't probably going to be able to make it because I was traveling. I was in New Mexico during that time, so I apologize for having missed it. That's very difficult to get to in time. So maybe I am meant, let's see here, hold on. Here. I'm not gonna make this one. But I can, yeah, I can come back here and do this anyway. So maybe that's the idea, is if I have to go, I can go back and redo. Maybe. Does make it difficult to redo. We only saw like 2 episodes. Well, that's pretty good. I think those episodes are fairly long. Dang it, Discord, you were supposed to tell me. Come on. There. So maybe I would say, I can get it, but maybe that's the idea. Like this, well... No, there's no way. I have to figure... No one has joined your Discord. I didn't even know you had one apart from the one that I've talked to you on, which I'm already in. I want to join the server. Let me have this one bring me all the way up. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Let me try it this way. I have an idea. Let's do this in 2 parts. So firstly, let's do that. Let's do this secondly. And then let's have this bring me all the way up to here, where I can then touch like this and do this. Now... No, I still can't make it back. It has to be done in 1 part. Let me in. That was just... It doesn't move very quickly, so what am I doing wrong here? This part makes sense. Okay, maybe I need to run substantially ahead. I think I get Hodor. My Australian friend doesn't even know my car. Hold the D door. Hold the door. Hodor. Hodor. I don't know where we've gone. Okay, I think I know what I'm meant to do. That's not it, though. I think I get what I'm meant to do. I think... No, it is what I'm meant to do, but I messed up. Ah! It is definitely... I'll say this is one of those ones where it's just... It's like, come on, I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just the timing of it is very difficult. And I missed it by... that would have been the one, too, if I hadn't have missed it by that much, but I did. It's so difficult. Retro can't have toast. You should know that is true. I cannot have toast. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That is much easier said than done, I think. Oh, shoot. Didn't know the wind would stop. Okay, so, and the wind does restart again. I don't know if I can grab onto those little blocks. I can, but I don't need to. There we go. Whoops. Yay! First try, blind playthrough. I mean, technically, yes, I have not played all the way through this, and I've not been to this part yet, so... This is a technically blind playthrough in this way. Now, I don't know, what I'm doing is probably not very impressive. I'm not particularly good at it, but it's cool. Hold on. There we go. What was the point of that? Okay, the wind just stops. We're gonna push. Okay, this isn't gonna be easy. Ha! Should have waited. Okay, I gotta figure out what... How do I... What am I supposed to... It's definitely, I was gonna say, this part's definitely, I'm just trying to... Trying to figure out, I didn't hit the dash button on time. This game ain't exactly a breeze. Yeah, no, that's not true. That's not untrue. How do I do this where if I hit that, it will allow me to... Because that wind is blowing me straight back into the Okay, I think there we go. Okay, the wind died down a little bit. I feel like I'm supposed to avoid these, but... Yep, I was right. I don't know if they're just giant snowballs or... Oh, shoot. This is the Dark Souls of mediocre platform. It's... I wouldn't say... I mean, Dark Souls-wise... There are other games that are more unfair than this, right? Many of the... you haven't seen the later levels? Yeah. I'd say many of the... well, think about the Kaizos, right? I didn't mean to jump over. Think about the Kaizos, though, like the Grand Poo World and Super Mario Kaizo. Let me keep an eye on the time. I have to keep an eye on the time. I think we've got about 15 more minutes or so before I'll call it... I have to call it good, so... So,
I would argue that the Kaizo Marios are harder because you have to come up with like the shell stomping from, you know, basically being able to jump over a shell you have thrown against a wall consistently. So I pushed sideways on that, but I think that one automatically is intended to launch you up to that next platform. I can't believe you haven't died yet. I have died many times. Snow away. I remember a long time ago watching some kind of Pokemon Kaizo. I mean, how's it even possible to beat it? So much is on the line with this playthrough. Yeah. Boop. There we go. Like this. Gonna let that one come at me, let this one come at me, let this one come this way. Give myself a chance to breathe for a second here. And then the wind picked back up to the ridiculous here, so what I have to do, these are all springs. There we go. Come on. When the wind's super hefty right there, it's intuitive to use the jump. Oh, I thought that was going to be low enough that it was going to count as a... Whoops. I thought it was going to be low enough as it was going to count as a me squishing it. Come on, come on. Come on, me. There we go. Come on. I was going to try to jump, but I didn't do it on time. I should have ducked. Sometimes the move is to get over and then jump. Sometimes it's to get over and then duck. And it's not super easy to tell which ones win. And if you go up at an angle, you lose almost all right-facing momentum. Which that is one little critique that I have about this, is that you shouldn't lose all... Oh, man, that was it right there, too. That's all right. When you go up into the right or to the left, you shouldn't lose the complete forward momentum, but you do lose the whole of it. Oh, I didn't think it could hit me while I was in the water bubble. Oh, well. See, right there, I lost all my forward momentum because I went like that instead of forward. I do think that was something that... It'd be nice to still have that forward momentum. Shoot, see? Lost thumbs. The cool thing about it is when I hit... One of the benefits, I think, is when I hit one of those snowballs on the top, it will allow me to regain my boost jump, which I think is a really cool kind of... There we go. Come on. Ah, shoot. That was my fault completely. Alright. Let's see. I like kind of the water bubble puzzles. I think they're neat. The wind puzzles, not my favorite. When they're the heavy wind like this. Because you see, I just barely made it, and then I kind of go into like the Seth Rogen mode there for a second. I didn't mean to do that. Whew. Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? Yeah. Ah ha ha ha! Shoot! Come on. See, you just lose too much momentum unless you go directly forward. Why is okay? Now I'm just actually not able to. What in the world? Oof, and it blew me all the way to the right side, the left side rather. So Celeste is secretly a lesson on fit. We also talked about how it was kind of philosophies of Jungian shadow self too, right? So because we've met Madeline's shadow self. There we go. I was just gonna say, skip those clouds. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That was on me completely. Let's see. There's actually an assist mode that can... Yeah, I saw that, but I kind of wanted to beat it the right way. I'm an old school gamer, right? I don't have... If you want to play it with assists and it's like, yeah, there's no problem, but games used to be this brutal normally. What was I gonna say? What was a good example of that? Hagane, maybe? Oh, man. Dang it. The wind stops there, too, so I just need to up angle it, I guess. So this, and then this, like that, down here, here, like this, like that. Okay, cool. Oh, yay! Look what I found. Retro, wait up. I don't know who's saying it, so I don't know whose voice it needs to be. It's probably that other guy. Oh, it is that guy. I don't know what his voice is. I don't remember what voice. Why did you wiggle? Nailed it. Why'd you wiggle horizontally? By the way, considering our height, I'm assuming I'm 5 foot, maybe even. That was probably almost 60 foot. Just give me a sec. A gondola. I've always wanted to ride one of these. Looks pretty old, but maybe it still works. I don't see any other way to cross this chasm. Let's do it. Why are you coming along? How did you make it up here without me? This lever looks important. It's probably the only way to operate. We should not let you touch things. Easy every time. I was probably a gondola operator in a past life. I feel like you're already dead. Do you think this thing is safe? I'm sure it's fine. How'd it shake out with Oshiro? Or Oshiro? You were right. I shouldn't have tried to help him. I hate to say I told you so, but... Should be also getting harder to breathe at this point because the altitude should be oxygen thin. I should have listened to you. You didn't get hurt, that's what matters. The air is so thin up here. There we go. I can barely breathe. Hey, cool. I guessed it. That's what it should have been. He has 5 feet and something. Wait. 5 foot something. I was saying she was likely 5 foot, and I was trying to kind of measure how tall that cliff would be in hers. I've seen IGN playing the Cuphead walkthrough. Cuphead's a fun game. I can barely breathe. Okay, so yeah. It should be getting pretty thin. Okay, if we don't get a selfie on this thing, I'm going to regret it. Yeah, you're all about that, aren't you? I can't even see the ground through this mist. How high up are we? Pretty high. Less panicking, more posing. Okay. Oh, it's our shadow self and we... What was that? Huh? Looks like we stalled out. This is really bad. Maybe if I... Don't pull that lever. Okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that's why I said don't pull it. Our shadow self is here. No, this really isn't good. Her fear, her panicking, her self-doubt, that's her shadow self. Retro, you cool? Yeah, I just... Oh, the little beep. No, I'm not cool. The little beep, she's so scared. I can't breathe. You're having a panic attack. Why would you think it's good to ride this? Yeah, that's not fair to get mad at him. Come on, don't take this out on me. That's fair. Stay with me here. My grandpa taught me a trick for this. Close your eyes. All right. Picture a feather floating in front of you. Look at her breathing. Aww. You cannot catch a break. Yeah. Potion seller. I'd like to buy your strongest potions. Yeah. Alright, I'll buy it at a high price. Stranger, that's not a potion. We'll see you later, Max. I hope you get to feeling better. Your breathing keeps the feather floating. Just breathe slow and steady in and out. Yep. Slow it down. She's slowing it down. Good. Oh, I'm holding the A button to make that breathing happen. So when you really have to go climbing mountains, there are masks you wear that will prevent oxygen from making their way in comfortably. There we go. Easy every time. There you go. Yeah. So it is her shadow self, and her shadow self is filled with doubt and self-loathing and all of that. And she panics, and then she took it out on him, which wasn't fair. Feeling any better? There you go. I think so. Thanks for helping me calm down. I think she's an adorable character. I do like her. How'd you know we'd start moving again? Oh, I totally thought we were done for. Oh my god. Look at this selfie though. Sometimes that's what it is. It's just when you think you're done for, keep going anyway. And we finished a chapter. Chapter 4. So now we're past the Golden Ridge. We got 6 strawberries. Not bad, but we died a ton. And so the next place is up here. So we'd be on chapter 5, but I think we're going to call it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this. I know we kind of went back and forth, and this was a short one, but let me move us over. I know that was kind of a short one, but it was fun, and we did finish a whole chapter. Not bad. And we talked a little bit, and we did a little bit of philosophy and philosophizing and all that kind of good stuff. I do want to do, to Ash's point, regenerate 217 times. The doctor has nothing on him. No, I can come back infinitely. GG, thank you, Thumb. Okay, I just got comfortable for the rest of the stream. That's all of it. That's funny, but I just sort of... Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, this one's a little short one, but I just wanted to make sure I'm kind of being respectful with all of the time, because I have very little of it, sadly, these past couple of weeks and this other stuff. We missed the philosophy. We talked about the chaos theory, basically. We talked about Nietzsche a little bit. We talked about the potential of being disingenuous by not being willing to experience emotions that are societally considered negative emotions. So, for example, feeling hatred is okay, and being hateful, not being mean towards somebody projectively, but being hateful, being filled with hate, if it's justified, is okay. You need to be able to feel it, and you need to make sure that the word that I use is arbitrary. You need to filter that out. Chaos reigns, hence the shorter times. You need to be able to filter that out. So hating something can motivate you in a positive direction, right? This is just the summary of it. Hating something can motivate you in a positive direction. If I hate this, then I will aspire to be the opposite of the thing that I hate. And if that fuels my passion for becoming the opposite, then that is a good thing. But if I realize that I'm starting to become, quote unquote, a keyboard warrior and tell everybody else how they're wrong and call them bad things, then that hate, I need to move away from that. Hate is not a bad thing, it's how you use it. And if you don't know how to use it positively and you begin to use it arbitrarily, then you are inevitably going to be someone who is going to have to move away from that. And it's only you who can determine it, right? For me, I use my hate to motivate me to be something opposite of what they are. Whatever it is that I hate, right? Not they people, but they the things that I hate. If there's something that I see that a person is that I hate that they are, I'm not going to tell them I hate that they are that thing. I'm simply going to be the opposite of that thing myself. They don't need to know what I think about, or that I care, because I don't. I want to be better. But if you find yourself living in a hate where that it's rotting your world and your perspective, then that's the hate is always foolish and love is always wise. See, and that was another thing I said. Love is as dangerous and as potentially foolhardy as hate, right? It's what we love and what we hate that are, again, that's why I say arbitrary. We need to make sure that they are stalwart. We understand what they are. Love is not always wise, because to love something blindly can be a dogma. It can be an indoctrination. Or indoctrination. I'm not sure which word. I think indoctrination would be proper. Let's say that. Indoctrination. So, for example, it was the love of country that created some of the worst atrocities in history. Not the hatred of the enemy, but the love of country, the love of people, the love of preservation of that which is. And that love fuels people to do it. Hating a man and pulling the trigger on him is dangerous, but it is as dangerous as loving a woman and hating the man who may covet her and pulling the trigger anyway. Right? So love is not always wise, and hate is not always foolish. This is why I use the word arbitrary. Arbitrarily hating or acting arbitrarily from hate is always foolish. Loving arbitrarily, however, is also foolish. Feel what you feel entirely. Examine why you feel that way. And allow yourself to do what you know will be best for you in that moment. If hate is poisoning your action, then migrate away from hate. But if hate is fueling you to do something better, to better yourself, to hate something so much that you wish to be the farthest thing from it, then let that hate motivate you to become more and different and better than that thing that you hate. It's almost like philosophy, at least in this context, is about giving deeper meaning to the simplest words. It is, absolutely. It's about asking questions to something ethereal, right? When we think about, this is the thing that's so crazy, is we allow ourselves to fall into the trap of letting what we believe of a thing be an espousal of what society tells us it is. And in some cases, there's wisdom in that, right? But in most cases, it isn't that, right? So we've agreed in most cases that the laws that we have are appropriate and are good and are better, but we don't realize that sometimes we have to be willing to understand the deeper meaning of it and the purpose and intent behind it, so that we understand when it is appropriate to follow it, which is most of the time, and when it is appropriate to break it, which is some of the time. Now, most of the time, laws are pretty well agreed upon. It's also why we have a trial by jury. They have to look and say, well, did the circumstance dictate that this person should have been able to do that? And the answer is generally no, but sometimes yes. I was hoping to read some more philosophy yesterday in case you were streaming, but edema concerns just made me binge. That's okay. Do what you will. Like I said, that's fine. But the idea behind it is don't feel bad. But today I'll read more of my notes, including a few pages that the lecturer had no time to cover. Please do. And please feel free to discuss. I know I've been spotty. It's been difficult. But yeah, please do message and we'll go back and forth. But again, everybody kind of always puts things into this bucket. And this is my encouragement to you. Is everybody always, hate's always bad. Love's is always good. Happy's always good. Sad's always bad. That's not true. You need to there's utility in being able to experience all of it. And you need to diagnose for yourself, and you can work. If you want to work with a professional, please do also. But we're just talking philosophy, right? I'm not talking about therapy. I'm talking about just philosophy. There's utility in being able to understand what you feel, how it impacts you, what you're doing as a result of that, and then to move beyond that, right? Sometimes being able to look at a circumstance, and I think Albert Camus had once said something to this, but it was basically being able to understand, and Nietzsche definitely did, being able to say that this is just a bad situation and this makes me sad, or it makes me angry, then how do you use that anger? Do you take it out on somebody who doesn't deserve it, or do you say, this has made me so angry that I am not going to let this happen again. I'm going to take proactive steps against it. And if hatred of the current issue, circumstance, says I'm going to do something proactive and take steps against it, that's a positive. Do that, right? Don't feel ashamed of feeling a negative emotion. Feel ashamed of using that negative emotion arbitrarily and specifically against somebody who didn't deserve it, right? Feel hate. Let hate motivate you, but don't let hate motivate you to do stupid things. Let hate motivate you to be something greater than the thing that you hate, right? Same thing with sadness. Let sadness motivate you to proactively address a circumstance so that you don't have to experience that same sadness to that same degree beforehand. You've already experienced it. So, and in the same way, when you are happy, feel happy completely. Feel happy entirely. Enjoy and bask in that moment because it's fleeting. It won't last forever. So bask in that moment. And if you have the opportunity to let happiness motivate something where you can share it with somebody, do it. But don't do anything arbitrarily. Do it because something has motivated you. Do not fall into believing that what society says is bad is bad. Question it for yourself, understand how it impacts you, and use that knowledge. That's my encouragement. I know a lot of people will disagree on it, and that's okay. But I'm not trying to tell you what you need to do. I'm just encouraging that this is what I feel people don't look at, and I want you to be willing to think critically for yourself. And that includes debating. If you believe that I'm wrong, tell me. Say, no, you're wrong because of this, and I'll come back and say, okay. Either, okay, I hadn't thought of it that way, or maybe I've thought of it that way, and this is what I've come to. And that's kind of what this is for. But that was the synopsis of what it is. We've played Celeste. We've climbed a video game peak physically, and we've climbed a philosophical peak metaphorically. And I think that that's probably the most accomplishment you can make in these short little sessions for catharsis' sake. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, talking with me about things that are, again, generally unpopular to talk about, especially in this kind of a forum. And I hope you guys will come and visit with me when I have an opportunity to do so next time. But I hope you'll be patient with me otherwise. I do have some Star Wars. I'm going to do some more of this, obviously. I know I have a couple of more chapters to go. And then I have I do want to do some Star Wars stuff next. So I think that's where I'm going to go. But yeah, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, wonderful rest of your day. Vidya, you have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you next time.